So it's an honor to speak with you all today. It's crazy that I was chosen. I had to go through a period of, why me? I really haven't, I'm 27 years old. I haven't done too much. I'm not trying to undervalue myself, but I really was like, what am I gonna speak to these people about? Like, what do I have to share that's helpful? So now for the Tony Robbins portion of this segment, because this is like a hype session about to happen. So strap in. So a little bit about me. Yes, I worked for Congressman Randy Weber, who's a Texas member, Southeast Texas. Right outside Johnson Space Center, we represented about 75% of the JSC workforce, which included NASA employees and contractors. He served on the Science-Based Technology Committee as the ranking member on the Energy Subcommittee. So it was kind of great because we had a full Energy Subcommittee staff dedicated to just energy policy, so then I could kind of play in like the other areas of the Science Committee, like space. So we really worked and built him up into something of a legend, if I might add, in the space world. He was speaking at like every event ever, and he loved it. It was awesome. But a few other issues I covered, so obviously the committee, but that includes science, technology, energy, space, education, labor, judiciary, and constitutional issues, as well as agriculture. So essentially I had to know everything about all those things and then advise about them, which is a lot. But the good thing about that is that it gives you the ability to really figure out what you like. And I think that's what made it obvious to me that, space is it. And so I thought this was kind of a fitting image to share. That's me on my dad's shoulders. In front of the Kremlin in Moscow. We spent 5 years there, 2000 to 2005. So I was there during 9/11, which was a really crazy experience. And now it's even crazier right now with what's going on in the world, knowing that I'll probably not get to visit again. And just like sad to think about what's going on. The school that I went to was shut down by Putin like 4 years ago or something as pretty much punishment to the Americans. And then on the other side is me in front of the US Capitol. I felt like it was a very good juxtaposition, kind of. So, and then the statue on top of the Capitol, I don't know if you guys know, but her name is Freedom, and she's facing the east, and that's because the sun never sets on freedom. Well, that's what we say. But really, it's because the swamp used to be on the other side. So I kind of have like a few lessons that I've learned. Maybe you'll take something from it, maybe you'll think it's lame, but either way, I'm here to do it. So, life is pretty freaking hard, I think we can all agree, but working on the Hill was very difficult. You have to balance a bunch of different personalities. The schedule changes every 5 minutes. A lot is expected of you. You're serving a member of Congress who doesn't have time for, much, but has to do everything. So you really kind of grow up fast. I joined when I was 22 years old. And I stayed with my former boss for 3.5 years. So he and I became very, very close. But we had to manage a lot of different personalities. Ultimately, my direct supervisor and I, no one tell, we've bumped heads like a lot. And it was really, really difficult. And I think I learned a lot of lessons from that, how to manage different personalities, how to kind of, go behind a dumpster and scream. As I told Jared, I was gonna say this and he raised his eyebrows up. And I heard someone say they scream earlier and I was, yes, girl. It really is that crazy over here. So a lot of different things, but you have to keep going because you have to. And you learn through different people how to manage things. So this is kind of my favorite one. Reject the idea that there is one correct path to take you where you want to be. When I got on the Hill as an intern, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't even know anyone. I knew one person who worked on the Hill. But immediately I started interviewing for jobs for like a staff assistant, which is kind of the entrance level position. And I had no idea what I was doing, which I think honestly served to my advantage because I had no idea how competitive it was. I was interviewing against like 23 different people each time I went into an interview, and I had no idea. I thought it was like me and another person. And, I got rejected like probably 10 times, which was devastating. I was like, do I move back to Houston or what am I going to do? Finally, I interviewed with Randy Weber's office, and the chief of staff and I just like clicked like this. She called me like 10 minutes after I left her office and offered me a job. I was making $32,000, which is not a lot to live on in Washington, D.C. Like, really. I was like, can we maybe put it to like 40? And this is, I think, also, I don't know if you guys have heard about the conversation that's starting about how underpaid Hill staff are for how hard they work and how many hours they work, because they really do. I mean, you're working like 12-hour days most days. It's that bad, but it's great. It's fun. This is not like a don't do it thing. But I kind of set this goal for myself that I wanted to become a legislative assistant within a year, which meant I was going to skip the next role in the system, which is legislative correspondent, which essentially means you just respond to constituent mail like all day. And that's like a really difficult job because people write in about 150 issues. You have to know how to respond to them in a way that is both in the voice of the congressman and also, you have to kind of work your way around some tough issues. And I just didn't want to do it. I was like, I'm not doing it. It ain't for me. And so I pretty much told the congressman, I was like, look, I will do what it takes to become a legislative assistant. I really want to handle your science-based technology portfolio, please. And when the day came that someone moved on from our office, I just moved up into legislative assistant where I handled the policy portfolios. So I don't like when people tell you, you have to do this and then do this and then do this, because no, you don't. I mean, take their advice, but don't accept it as just objective truth. You can do whatever you want to do. Just, someone once told me, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, just the hardest working. And I've seen that all the time come true. People notice when you work really hard, and I think that this is just my favorite thing, and I tell everyone this because it's just so true. So another thing is, a lot of us in this room are pretty young, right? We're going to be working for a long time. So, and I know a lot of people here probably on TikTok. I shamefully am too. I've been seeing a lot, and I hope it's not just me, and I'm totally embarrassing myself right now, but at least my algorithm is all these people just being miserable in their 9-to-5 jobs. Like, I don't know, is this just me? Okay, people see it? Okay, cool. I'm like, uh-oh, I hope I'm not like... And I think it's so critical that you find out what you want to do, and then you just dive head in. Maybe you know what you want to do, and it's just how do you get there? But I have a cool video, which I really hope works. Okay, let's see. We're hiring. Sorry, no, just a little quick plug. But really, we're hiring. So another thing is, because you are a human, you have intrinsic value. People might treat you, not the way you should be treated in jobs. And for me, I kind of decided I'm done dealing with that. I've had conversations with people who have said, oh, I didn't have that realization until I was 45. And I'm like, honey, I'm not doing that anymore. So, of course, there's gonna be different personalities everywhere you go, but you should never tolerate just being totally taken advantage of and, screamed at. And just don't accept it, because you don't deserve that. And the toxic workplace culture is not great and shouldn't be tolerated. So you are important and powerful because of who you are, and just don't let people treat you like crap, because just don't let it happen. You just shouldn't let it happen. And let's see. Okay, so that's a picture of Congressman Weber and me crashing a space subcommittee hearing, because we technically weren't on the subcommittee, but we showed up for every single hearing, which made a lot of people upset. But we were the problem children, and we loved it. So, and through doing that, it was kind of, we made a statement. I think Jared might probably have something to say about that too, because he was calling me like, girl, what you doing? So we got really involved, even though that's kind of abnormal to do things like that. And we got noticed for it, and it was awesome. And we would come out and we would call people out. And my boss was not afraid to make a statement that would ruffle feathers. And I think that was really, really important. And that happened because we learned to work together so well, and we had so much trust. I've never had a boss prior to that trust me ever so much. I mean, I could write a speech for him in 5 minutes on the car to something, and he wouldn't need to proofread it. He would just go out there and trust that I did the thing. So it was one of the best experiences of my life. Hopefully in the next 10 years or something, I may try to make a move back, because I miss it all the time, but I love my job now. And everyone, we're hiring. And so the last thing is, that's Tom Stafford, Apollo 10 astronaut. Also, I think he holds records for most rendezvous in space or something crazy like that. He's a stand-up guy, and he came and met with us a few times on the Hill. He's testified in front of Congress, and he is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. I think he made it literally a calculation by hand to correct their trajectory when landing one time that saved the whole crew's life. I mean, freaking genius. But always pay it forward. So many people have helped me get where I am today, including Jared and Mary as well. And so if I stood here, it would be 20 minutes. I'm not going to do it, but just make time for people. And you never know what you could say that could be helpful. And same goes for everyone in this room. I have my info here. You can email me or text me or whatever you want to do. I'm happy to either Zoom or coffee, whatever, I'm down for whatever. So anyways, thank you so much.